Hello everyone and good evening to everyone. I am Vaishnavi from class 7th and today we are going to start with the question answers of science in SST. So without any delay, let's start with the SST question answers. SST question answers are from where, when, where and how. It is the chapter name, and in that chapter we can see there are very short question answers. So first we will start with them. Very short question answers. Question number 1 is that how do royal decrees help historians? So royal decrees are orders given by a king or queen that help the historians as an evidence and provide important source of study and investigation for historians only. Then the second question is mean to biographies and to autobiographies in the medieval period. So the two biographies are Prithviraj Raso by Chandabardani and we can write Gulbadan Begum by the Gulbadan Begum wrote the Humayunama. Then the two autobiographies we can write autobiography Tazuki Jahangiri and Fatwat Hi Firoz Shahi. So these are the two autobiographies and two biographies. Now what are dohas? Dohas are a saying of sands from a part of literary sources. Now we have learned the dohas also. The doha is a saying of sand. For example, Tulsidas was a poet and he wrote dohas. So that is known as the dohas, the saying of sands, as known as dohas. Now we are going to the question number 4, which is what is calligraphy? So we are on the calligraphy. That calligraphy is something that is the common feature of writing manuscripts during the medieval period of Indian history is known as calligraphy. So we have done the calligraphy. Now coming to the last very short question answer, which is question number 5. How do writings of foreign travelers help historians to reconstruct the history? So how it helps to reconstruct the history? The answer is foreign travelers came from a very social environment, full stop. So their accounts compact with court affairs, architectural features, religious issues that help to reconstruct the history. Now we have learned that how they help to reconstruct history, and we have done the very short question answers by the 2 minutes only. Now we are going to short question answers. Now the short question answers are write about the periodization of Indian history, especially in the medieval period. So the periodization, the answer will be started like history, the study of events. So what is history? First we will describe over here. History, the study of events of the past. So what is history? The history is the study of events from the past, is commonly divided into ancient, medieval and modern periods on the basis of changes in social, political, economic organization and shifts in ideas and beliefs. Each period is distinguished by specific characteristics and developments. The medieval period in India under the study is divided into two parts, which is early medieval period and late medieval period. You have to write the timeline also. Early medieval period from 700 to 1200 CE and late medieval period from 1200 to 1750 CE. Now we are going to question number 2, which is what do you know about the major materials that were used while writing literary works in medieval period of India? So literary sources are found in many languages such as Persian, Hindu, Arabic, Sanskrit, and Urdu, regional languages, and so on. In the early medieval period, paper was still not used in India. The materials that were used in India were the bark of birch trees, palm leaves, animal skins, and also in the late medieval period, paper became the chief writing material that was used to write and it was compiled as books and with the paper they were compiled as books. Now we are going to the question number 3. What are court chronicles? Give examples also. Several scholars wrote about the history of dynasties and these texts were known as the court chronicles. Example are Raja Tarangini by Kalhana. Question number 4 is that then we have that alloys these had different types of scripts and figures inscripted on them. For We have seen like kings and queens on the coins that is known as the points. They were inscripted on them. Now, the fourth point is sculptures. These were made of bronze, wood, stone, and depicted figures of gods and goddesses, kings and queens. For example, Nataraja or the Dancing Shiva. The fifth is paintings. Paintings can be found in the form of murals, portraits, and miniature paintings on the scrolls of pieces of paper and many other major developments. So, paper compiled as a books. Now, religious reforms in the form of Sufi movements and Bhakti were major developments of the period. Now, this was the complete answer, which was the last short question answer. Now, we are going to start with the long question answers. The question number one is, in what ways the has the meaning of term Hindustan changed over the centuries? Now, we have to write the answer as during the medieval period, the name that gained popularity was Hindustan along with the term Hind. These names are still used in present day India, and therefore it is important to know that how they came about. So the first point and the last point of this is the rulers of Delhi Sultanate and Mughals called the Indian Empire as Hindustan. Now the answer to question number one is finished. Now we are going to question number two. How are the sources of medieval period in Indian history classified? Write in detail. Now we have to write in detail that how are they classified. The answer will be the sources are dot dot archaeological sources, the study of history through the study of materials through the history and materials of remains of human life is known as archaeology. Such sources may include monuments, paintings, sculptures, coins, inscriptions, and etc. Literary sources. These sources are found in written form. They were written in many languages such as Persian, Sanskrit, Arabic, Urdu, regional languages, and so on. In the early medieval period, paper was still not used in India. The materials that were used in India were palm leaves, bark of birch trees, and animal skins. In the late medieval period, paper became the chief writing material. Write a note on literary sources on the medieval period. Question number three. So, literary sources are found in the written form. They were written in many languages like Persian, Sanskrit, Arabic, Urdu, regional languages, and so on. In the same way, in India, paper was still not used in India. The materials used for writing included palm leaves, bark of birch trees, animal skins, etc. And in the late medieval period, paper became the chief writing material. Also, now we have the last question, question number four. Explain any three political developments that took place in India during the medieval period. Now, we are going to do this question number four as soon as possible as we have to complete this in 10 minutes. Now, 2 minutes are left. We are starting with the question number four. The three political developments of the medieval period are: first, establishment of Delhi Sultanate after the arrival of Turks from the northwest and setting up of the Mughal Empire were important political events of the period. Second point is the custom of granting land to nobles. So the custom of granting land. Granting means giving, and for giving lands to nobles by the rulers in return for regular tributes and military help. So it was like to give something and to take back something. So the same thing is written over here that this was a significant political trend of the period. Now we have the flourishing of trade and commerce along with the introduction of a more systematic assessment of land revenue. Revenue were the significant economic trends of the medieval period. Now we have completed all the question answers. If you have any doubt, I I will not be able to like just open the comments because it's a made for gets channel. And so, if you have any doubt, you can ask from your parents and your teachers also, so that they would clear your doubts. Now, we are going to study the question answers of science chapter. Now, in science chapter, we have studied the chapter number one, which was nutrition in the plants. So, starting with that chapter, nutrition in plants. The question number one will be Okay, like what is nutrition? So the question number one states that what is nutrition? The process of taking in food by an organism and its utilization is called the nutrition. Now the question number two is what is stomata and where are they normally found? Leaves take in carbon dioxide from the air around us through tiny pores called stomata. Now, in bracket, you can write if you want a singular form is stoma. These pores are located underside of the leaves. So we have answered the both questions now. Now, question number three, that what is photosynthesis? It is the process in which plants uses the light energy to convert carbon dioxide and water to carbohydrates. Now we have done this. Now we have to do what are the factors essential for photosynthesis to take place. The conditions necessary for photosynthesis to take place are as follows: presence of chlorophyll, presence of light, availability of water, availability of carbon dioxide. Now, question number five is how does an insectivorous plant absorb nutrients from an insect trapped by it? Insectivorous plants secrete digestive juices to digest the insect trapped by them. These plants then absorb the nutrients released by the digestive insect. Now we have done the question number 5. Let's go to the question number 6. How does a septrophyte digest its food? The question is pretty simple, that how do saprophyte digest its food? The answer will be these plants secrete digestive juices on the dead and decaying matter. This converts the solid matter into the liquid form. They then absorb that liquid to get nutrients from it. Now we have completed all the short question answers. Now we are coming to the long question answers of science. So the question number one is differentiate between the heterotrophs and autotrophs. So we will do one by one. Autotrophs, organisms that make food themselves, are called autotrophs. Heterotrophs, organisms that rely on others and usually take in ready-made food made by the autotrophs, are called heterotrophs. We have learned both of the definitions, and the question is also completed. Now let's go to the question number 2. How will you test a leaf for starch? Mention any precautions you will take. Pluck a leaf from a plant which has been exposed to sunlight. Boil it for about 5 to 10 minutes in water to soften it. Place it in a test tube containing alcohol. Place a test tube in a beaker of water and warm the water gently until it begins to boil. Caution is, do not allow the water to boil in the beaker. The alcohol will dissolve the chlorophyll and the leaf will lose its green color. Now, wash the leaf in warm water to remove the alcohol from it. Now, pour some iodine solution on it. Remove the leaf from the iodine and wash it with water gently. Hold it up against the light. You will observe that parts of leaf will become blue or black. These parts of leaf have starch in them. So we have tested how to test a starch in a leaf. Now we are going to go to the question number 3. How do plants get nitrogen to synthesize proteins? So the answer of it is proteins contain nitrogen in two ways. Soil contains bacteria rhizobium that can convert atmospheric nitrogen into water-soluble compounds. Plants absorb these compounds along with water to get nitrogen. Now, the point 2 is farmers add fertilizers rich in nitrogen to soil. These nutrients are absorbed by the plants. Now, question number 4. It is the second last question of this chapter. Now, we are going to start with this. Explain the following with the help of an example for each parasitic nutrition: symbiosis, heterotrophic nutrition. Parasitic nutrition. Now we are going to the answers. Parasitic nutrition. Some non-green plants live in or on the other living organisms and derive their food from them. For example, the dodo is a plant which sucks food from another plant using the root-like structures using the root-like structures. Such plants are called the parasites. The plant from which a parasite gets its food is called a host. What is symbiosis now? Symbiosis, two different kinds of organisms work together for their mutual benefit. For example, alga, which is an autotroph, and fungus, which is an saprotroph, live together in lichen for their mutual benefit. This type of mutual relationship is called symbiosis. Now let's go to the third point of it, saprotrophic nutrition. Some non-green plants live on dead and decaying matter and dead and decaying plants and animals and derive their food from them. Examples are mushrooms, other fungi, and bacteria. They secrete digestive juices from the dead and decaying matter. This converts the solid matter into liquid. They then absorb the liquid to get nutrients from it. This mode of nutrition is known as saprotrophic nutrition. Now we are going to the last question, which is why manures and fertilizers are added to the soil in the farm. Manures and fertilizer are added to the soil in order to enrich its organic composition and replenish the soil, replenish the nutrients in it. The plants absorb most of the nutrients from the soil, leaving the soil deficient of these nutrients. Manures and fertilizers are rich in organic matter and nutrients like nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus. Thus, according to the need of plants, farmers add fertilizers and manures into the soil. By this, we have completed all the question answers of science and SST by so quickly in just 15 minutes. And now we have to learn them and just revise them with the help with our eyesight and brain. So it was very nice to see you all. So thank you everyone. Stay home, stay safe. Bye bye.